So as we've seen so far, the Nikon ZF is one of the worst vlogging cameras of our time. Why am I going to review two of the best vlogging lenses for it? Boredom, midlife crisis, regret. So we're going to test the 17 to 28 totally not a Tamron lens versus the new Viltrox 16mm 1.8. Tony's versus the zoom capabilities.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I hate to say it, but Nikon Stab is worse than Sony's. Oh, I'm so sorry to have said that to you. You have to be so careful. Not only do we have the warpy corners, but also jerky. So Fuji jerks and old Panasonic warps, as well as Sony inability to do anything. But the look, it's so fantastic, you forgive it. You forgive it. Oh no, my shot's not having any complementary colors. Oh wow. So we're gonna switch over to the Viltrox 16. I wanna see if the Stab's any worse. But if you're careful, and I found digital Stab to actually be pretty good. Not bad. I'm manually exposing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I was gonna auto expose, but when I switched into toniature priority, I noticed that Nikon chose 1/25th of a shutter and 1000 ISO. Whereas right now I'm at 1/50th, correct, and 800. Why'd you make that decision, boy? Okay, so this is Nikon stabilization. If you actually want to get somewhere, you can't do it. I noticed that on Sony. You can't really just hold it and walk and get somewhere in a respectable time. Don't be meeting someone because you're going to be late. But if you slow it down, it's somewhat respectable. But it'll take you 3 hours to get anywhere in the city. It's better than a taxi and cheaper. Now let's switch to digital Stab and then we'll try the Viltrox out. Now what you may have noticed is a hefty crop just incurred. It's about 24.5%. That's big. That's like hot damn nasty. It's usually, I think Panasonic G9 II has a 10%, and then they also have like a 25% super crop. Sony as well, with the 10% active Stab, totally usable, and then dynamic Stab, 30%. Insane nightmares, but Sony's used to that, cropping into. This is vlogging, focal length. We designed it for vloggers. Now, Nikon has only one option, 25% no matter what. And it's not like that good, but it does help, doesn't it? Even if you walk somewhat with no respect for your neighbors. It's pretty good. So it's not bad. It's just, you're not full frame. You're better than APS-C, but barely. You're halfway in between. Full PSC. All right, let's switch to the Viltrox, see what background blur does for our lives, and then we go get some squirrel slow motion stuff. Does Nikon auto detect squirrels? We'll see that, and then we'll do a little sitting test. What's better, 17 with a zoom capability or a little more tonus? And a prime, but it's a Viltrox prime. Okay, a little bright. Oh boy, a little bright. Uh-oh, I have to be one of those guys that changes exposure on the fly. What a loser. So we're still in digital Stab. Now the background's a little blurrier and we should have prime quality versus a zoom. And it's, come on now, it's a Tamron zoom. We all know that. So it's not like you're getting, oh, Nikon designed from day one. They designed a meeting to meet with Tamron and beg for their lens. Not even a good lens. 9mm reach. 11. But I must say I've been pretty impressed with the Viltrox so far. I reviewed this exact lens for Sony, and I thought, I got Zeiss, come on. Zeiss Batis 18mm, like, give me a break. But like, not bad. Oh, side rant. Yes, Viltrox sent me this lens, obviously, for free. I just uploaded yesterday's video about the Freewell reader. I completely forgot to mention that it's like, oh yeah, they sent this to me for free. Obviously, like every single Freewell product I've ever reviewed. And people are calling me a shill because I didn't disclose the sponsor. It's in the description, you dick. And I just completely forgot. It was like fire alarms all over the place. You're questioning my integrity over that little SD card thing. Like, I forgot. Like, it was so after the thought. It's just so annoying when from day one I've operated this channel with complete integrity. Whenever someone sends me something, I pick it apart, man. I'm looking for all the flaws. I found 2 major flaws of that SD card reader. So like, you can't buy my love. So like, I'm the guy you trust. I don't even have to mention that this video is sponsored. It's not sponsored, I get no money, but I get the lens for free because I will find the flaws of it. It's heavy as hell. Okay, digital stab off. This is what you would get, 16 mil. If you're very careful, maybe, but like, it's very heavy, it's stupid. I know Viltrox has the 20 mil 2.8, you gotta be joking. That I threw up in my mouth when they sent that email, like, do you wanna review this? It was for Sony at the time, and I was like, 20 mil 1.8, pretty light. You're doing a 2.8 Viltrox. Like, give me a break. So there we have that. Is it even doable? Do you see a difference between the 2.8 17, 1.8 16 prime? You're seeing something. Oh, that's shaky. Did Nikon let me use digital stab while I ran across the street slowly? No. Thanks for nothing. I think Canon would have let me do that. Not you. Or Panasonic. I bet you tomorrow's release that Panasonic didn't send me, that little S9 thing that you can record for 15 minutes only, but it's for content creators with like no attention spans. Like, here we have a little 15 minutes. Why didn't they send it to me, you ask? I would have ripped it apart with my tongue, and they knew that. You crossed the line, Penny boy. All right, let's go get some slow motion squirrel action, test some sit down in nature video style type stuff. It's like a studio on the grass.
When I look her in the eyes, I wonder if she's surprised or knows that I wanna hide. I like hiding, I have to panhandle with candles in my hands. Why do people look at me like I'm a mammal? I'm not an animal, I'm wearing sandals. Fanboy, you rest in peace, I'm out of ammo. Soy boy, you eat too much corn. While you watch porn, you're ordinary, like normal people. You're a trend-hopping sheep, but the sheep go sleepless. The meek, meatless. Your minimalistic approach to sinister thoughts are criminal, but your technique is limited. Sometimes we fall behind all the time, but we will climb from behind. All will rise just in time. Your critic is mythical, a symbolical hypocrite.
All right, I'm leaving it in toniature priority. See what Nikon does with it. What do you do with that information? You're not seeming to do a whole heck of a lot right now with the sun. It's just varying sun and clouds. It's a vlogger's worst nightmare. We have nightmares, trust me. So when it comes to like this wide angle prime, it's a zoom. It's in your hands. You can feel the zoom mechanism. I always lean to primes just because they're faster, usually lighter. Those are the weights of these two lenses. I feel like the Viltrox might even be heavier. That's weird. But 1.8 versus 2.8 is a noticeable thing. You notice it. That's like a stop and a bit. You can notice a quarter of a stop. Those don't even exist. But like, you're not getting much zoom range. If this was like a 15 to 30 or something, 2.8, then you'd be like, wow, that's even wider than this. And you get this 30 mil compression. 28 mil is not a whole ton of compression. And if it's me, like I have the 28 mil prime, thanks to Steinbeck. So it's like, I would much rather have this Viltrox Super Tonys, and then boom, 28 prime. I think I would rather lean to the 40 mil Tony too, then just have the 16, 40, and then maybe the Freak 85. Well, we'll see what happens. Not trying to sell it. You're crazy. Usually my deciding factor is, does the lens have 3D pop and color fidelity. You wait for the... I have so many videos coming with little experiments, the old vintage 105mm 2.5 versus the 85 modern 1.2 and all this stuff, and you can see it. It's not just the separation, it's also the color fidelity. Something about old vintage lenses just like render color more accurately and pleasingly, and they're like more saturated, but in a good way. You can't just like up your contrast and saturation in post and like, I'll just match it. You'll never match it. So it's like, usually I debate 3D pop versus a zoom convenience, but I have to imagine neither of these have 3D pop. There's not much. You're not getting much. These are modern designs. This is a zoom, it's probably worse. Let us switch and show you 17mm, 28. Okay, now we're back on the Tamron at 17mm. Like for this type of shot, I often stop it down anyway, because you don't go somewhere nice and then blur it to oblivion. I've done it and I enjoy doing it, and I'll do it soon. But like, it's fun to bring a little background into your heart. I just made a video, but it was so beautiful and I just slightly missed focus because my bitch ass wanted to stop it down or not stop it down, and I was like, if you would have just Tony Ford the damn thing, you would have been fine, but I didn't, and I have to live with that. So like, here you are, 17, just as good as the Viltrox, and less. Okay, is your life changed? I was allowed to move back slightly. Tiny amount of compression is now involved. We're still pointed downwards at the worst angle mankind has ever seen, but it's good times. And it's like, I just noticed it's not a ton of reach. And I don't even like 35mm. It's not even my thing. So like the whole 16 to 35 lens type of thing, it's like, you're not winning my heart. I want like 15 to 50. That'd be like amazing. 22. Light, weight, stabilized. And some new type of feature that weighs a lot with lead. Something only lead could do. This is as far as my lav mic will permit me. So I lowered you, tilted up. Now you have this versus the Viltrox Ultrawide. A little bit more background blur, but it's goofy. Prime for zoom. And then you have this flexibility, which really isn't much flexibility. Will he guess the proper way to do it? Yes. 17mm. I don't know, man. I can totally see myself selling this thing immediately. Viltrox, if I want a goofy wide look, like it's sharp, it looks good. Pop isn't everything. It's not the most important factor. I almost put that tiny lens right on that would have scratched something hard. Every system I've owned, I always seem to just have a bunch of primes. Too many. For Sony, it's frickin' 18mm, 20, 25, 35, 55, 90, 200 to 600. My goodness, not even a 85mm 1.8 in there, Zeiss. That's a mistake. Or the 135 2.8, dare you dream it. So now for Nikon, I have like so many primes, it's getting ridiculous. If this was a Nikkor 16mm 1.8, we'd be in a totally different discussion here, and I'd be saying, you know, it's worth it. It's worth double the money for the Nikkor coatings and the little pop factor in there, the vintage touch. But it's not. It's a Tamron designed Nikkor input device versus a Viltrox Prime, and they're getting better. They're getting good and better. And my LCD screen works on this one. On the Sony, it just went blank immediately. This one works. So they worked out some kinks. I kind of like Viltrox. Maybe I should ask them for the 20mm and the 40mm 2.5. Are you joking? Why would they do that? Knowing the vintage 40mm 22 is like such an amazing cheap lens. Maybe they were working on it before Nikon announced it. I don't know, but that was a mistake. I'm in APS-C mode. 28mm, 1.5 times crop. We're looking 40s, something like that. So, I don't know. If I'm recommending it, I say Viltrox is cheaper and probably looks better at 16mm. Do I agree, editing me? Wow, look at his thoughts. I would go that, and then the 40mm 22 if you want a little separation, two primes, different looks. Because 28's not, I don't know, man. It's a nice lens. Don't get me wrong, that 28mm 2.8, there's nothing to sneeze at. You don't sneeze on that lens. I've tried it. You can't wipe that off. Side rant, and then I'll leave. I touched it in a review coming up, I got fingerprints on the back, and I was like, no, that's the worst thing. It can be scratched, you can have dust all over it, but if one fingerprint, it's over. The dust will do nothing, the scratches and hacks don't even show up. So like I was trying to clean it with rubbing alcohol, and I don't know, man, I made it worse. It's a lot worse. So it smudges and it never comes off, and then you dry it with another Q-tip, and how the hell do you do that? I messed it up. It's finally clean. It took me like 10 minutes though, like it was forever. I was like, what the hell? I'm just making it worse. I hate little things like that, little tiny trinkets and your little mini screwdriver, and I gotta fix this. What do? I have to Google this problem. Life on this planet is not for me. I'm leaving. So 17 mil on APS-C is that. We're overexposed, that's fine. Which one will you buy through my sponsored affiliate links? Burn in rabbit hell. I switched back to the Viltrox. Ended to full frame mode. I'm gonna leave though. So, which do you think looked better? Which would you buy? I think it's primes. I've never seen a zoom that was just like, yep, that covers everything. Although I could see it. 15 to 35, and then your portrait one and you're done. They're pretty fun sometimes. I'll go. Subscribe for more minute, I'm saying it.